Right, welcome ladies and gents. Some more information on the madness behind the scenes at Jaguar Land Rover. And it is madness. This stuff is just insane to hear. We've heard a lot about companies going woke and having a lot of DEI initiatives put into place. We know Adrian Mardell is the CEO of JLR, right? Someone who proudly marched down Birmingham Pride Parade with the Jaguar, and also one of the individuals clearly, obviously, behind the Rebrand, which has been not well received. Yeah, there's some interesting DEI stuff which I'm going to talk to you about today that they've been forcing upon employees. This comes from two individuals, two sources, and they, yeah, just happy to inform everyone of the madness that's going on behind the scenes at Jaguar. I've done a few videos on Jaguar now. You guys seem to really enjoy them. I enjoy doing them. This is yeah, an interesting topic, quite frankly. A peek behind the curtain of the madness that is corporate car manufacturing, I guess, now. Word of advice to Jaguar: just make cars. Just make cars. Just make good cars. Stop going down this bizarre path that you're doing. It's really strange. So anyway, if you enjoy videos like this, ladies and gents, do hit subscribe if you're new here. Lots of people are not subscribed that keep coming back to the channel. It would be great if you could, you know, turn into a subscriber. Turn that bell notification on, get notified of more. It also tells me that you guys want more of these types of videos as well. It's why I've done more of them. It's information that I get a lot of information from loads of various sources. So, you know, if videos do particularly well, there's a good like to dislike ratio. I will keep doing more on that subject. It's a good way where you guys communicate with me. You want more of it. Anyway, let's dive right into this, shall we? So, JLR, Jaguar Land Rover employees, they were recently assigned to go on mandatory diversity, equity and inclusion training classes. Starts to make sense, doesn't it? This rebrand starts to make a lot of sense when this happens. So, throughout the online module, because these are just all online things now, you had to click through different people types, so different stereotypes, I guess, be it gay, transgender, non-binary, Muslim, etc. And you'd have to answer questions based on hypothetical scenarios where these people face some kind of discrimination. So, you know, Muslim, for instance, you see a Muslim, there's some form of discrimination, and then you need to answer some questions on these hypothetical discriminatory situations. Funny that they never include white people. Anyway, then at the end of each section, they wanted employees to write a statement. Yep. Can you imagine going to work and having to write a statement on how you could better support the particular group of people with their goal of being their ally? Can you imagine that? I just want to work for Jaguar Land Rover. Turn up to work. DEI class. You have to write an essay, basically, on how to be an ally. How about piss off? How about who cares? How about I don't buy into identitarian politics? How about just shove it? How about that? What a pile of absolute detritus nonsense crap. No wonder their rebrand is the way it is. Anyway, it continues further. This individual is familiar with these types of things, but this was particularly egregious. Again, going so far as to write an essay on how to be an ally is I mean, it's pretty condescending, quite frankly. This is one example of JLR's crazy DEI behaviour. And this individual actually genuinely feels like they're a bit trapped in a cult some days, which is sad. But they obviously have some co-workers. They're not alone. Obviously, I've got loads of other people that are messaging me now as well. They're not alone. There's a lot of this kind of stuff going on. But yeah, that's about it really. They do go on to comment about Land Rover is basically the only one that makes profits, which makes a lot of sense. And this individual is looking to jump ship, which I think a lot of people will be. But wait, there's more. Oh yes, there's more. Ah, dear, oh dear. So, I have another individual that worked at JLR for about 10 years. Basically, quite a long time. Quite a long time. They don't work there anymore. Their partner does. But they obviously hear a lot of stuff behind the scenes at Jaguar Land Rover. So Jaguar Land Rover has been merged for over 20 years, where Tata Motors purchased them from Ford in 2008. Although it's owned by an Indian company, it still feels very British because the majority manufacturing plants are in the UK, which is interesting. Now, JLR tried to keep brands of Jaguar and Land Rover separate, which is something which the other source had pointed out as well, which is that Land Rover is the only one which is making profit. So Tata Motors and Jaguar Land Rover, they try to separate the two of them, which is very wise, quite frankly. Very, very wise. And in terms of, the consumers and things like that, it has to be completely different. And that's why there's lots of trailers just for Jaguar, just for Land Rover. But it's interesting. It is interesting. Both the vehicles are actually made in the same plant. So when you demoralise Jaguar, you actually demoralise Land Rover workers as well, because they're made in the same plant. Jaguar line workers are building Land Rovers as well. So you demoralise the Jaguar workers. I mean, you're demoralising one business. Well, you're demoralising two businesses. It's ridiculous. Absolutely absurd. So the biggest sales for JLR actually come from China, which is interesting that they would then take this woke approach, because China doesn't like that, which is very, very strange, I think. That's a really odd one, genuinely. But that's almost as much as the USA and Europe combined, apparently. So the company Rebrand, like the trailer itself, it doesn't reflect their target demographic, which goes to show that Adrian Mardell, as a CEO, is a moron, basically. I mean, there's no other two ways about it. He's a moron. If most of your sales come from China and you do a woke rebrand, that's a bit weird. But it also makes a lot of sense as to why they're going fully electric. No Jaguar car will be combustible. Well, they might be combustible, set fire to them and see, I guess. But there'll be no internal combustion engines in a Jaguar car. And that's why, because, well, one, there's mandates in the UK, for instance, but it's also because the majority of their sales come from China. So Jaguar accounts for less than 15% of JLR's total sales. That's crazy. With the remainder being 85% Land Rover, particularly the Range Rover and Defender models, which if you're in the UK, you will know this because you see them all over the place. And this is a reflection in manufacturing, where Jaguar plants can have regular stand-down periods, in contrast to Land Rovers that get built over 3 shifts, including weekends, because they just can't make enough of them quick enough. They're just constantly going. Now, this individual expects that the marketing disaster combined with the premature strategy of going full electric, the Jaguar brand is going to die. This is someone that worked for them for over a decade. So they're going to slowly die. The company diverting the majority of their plants to Land Rover is probably going to be the case, which, again, the other individual had stated as well. So it makes a lot of sense. It's a market that they don't understand. And they're just trying to copy Tesla, by the looks of it. Or Apple. Or any other stuff. I see. Who knows? Who knows what they're trying to do? It's very, very bizarre. And that's about it, really. There's not a whole lot else. I did make a slight correction on one of the comments on the last video, is that the internal messenger is not Jabba, it is Yammer. So, yeah, I got that slightly wrong. Do apologise. But there you go. Land Rover profits will basically be used to keep Jaguar on life support until they just bin off that brand, I would imagine. So there you go. Peek behind the curtain. Chaos behind the scenes. And it is chaos. You've got employees worried for their jobs, their livelihood. DEI training. Just nonsense stuff. Absolute nonsense. That leaked email, the memo from the CEO, by the way, was sent to all UK employees. Everyone in the UK had that email sent to them. So I don't know if it's UK-based people that were bitching and moaning about it. But they're certainly not happy. So there you go. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know down below. Cheers, take care. Bye-bye now.